The cave was first explored in 1960, and it quickly became famous for its narrow and slippery passageways, twists, turns, and squeezes. John had had plenty of caving experience when he was a kid. His father frequently took him and his younger brother Josh on caving trips all over Utah. On November 24th, 2009, John and Josh decided to rekindle their love for caving and picked Nutty Putty Cave as their next conquest. It was 8 p.m. on Wednesday, just a few days before Thanksgiving. When they arrived at the cave site, they weren't alone. 9 more friends and acquaintances had joined them, so by caving standards, it was quite a large group that finally entered the Nutty Putty Cave. Everything went smoothly for an hour or so. The party had explored the largest room in the cave, aptly named the Big Slide. Soon, John, Josh, and 2 of their friends decided to take up a challenge they had heard about, passing through the birth canal, a narrow and challenging passageway that eventually opens up into a larger room. John went first. He wriggled forward for some time, but did not see any larger area. He continued to inch forward, but the narrow passage did not come to an end. Instead, the squeeze made a sharp downward turn. Confidently, John pressed forward, perhaps noticing the tunnel got wider at the bottom, but it was already too late. It all went wrong 50 feet earlier. It is unclear if John entered the birth canal and accidentally turned and wriggled into the Scout Eater, or if he had missed the birth canal entirely and crawled into another passageway, just next to the birth canal, called Ed's Push. Now, Ed's Push does not lead to a larger room. It does not lead anywhere. At least nowhere a 6-foot, 200-pound man can fit. Ed's Push has 4 uncharted passageways at its end, but they are all too small for a human. John kept pushing through until he couldn't continue. He had wriggled into a fissure that went nearly straight down, which made him unable to turn back on his own. The narrow crevice he was trapped in measured 10 by 18 inches. This size is comparable to the opening of a front-loading washing machine, except it wasn't a perfect circle, and he was stuck in the tightest part of the opening. Trapped more than 100 feet below the ground, and deep inside the cave, all John could do was wait and pray. His brother Josh, who was following him, was the first one to find John. Anxious about how much the rock had swallowed John, Josh tried to pull him out but only managed to inch him up a little. As soon as he let John go, he slid right back into the crevice. John was stuck with one hand pinned underneath him and the other forced backward. His ankles and feet were free but were of little use as gravity pushed him down. They both said a quick prayer, and Josh hurried back to the ground as fast as he could, slowly wiggling out of the tight passage and rushing to the surface. Once outside, he quickly called for rescue efforts. As soon as the call for help went out, the rescue team assembled. Over the next 24 hours, more than 150 people worked tirelessly to rescue John, including cavers, rescuers, geologists, engineers, and medical personnel. They tried everything they could think of to free John from the crevice, including drilling a hole from the surface to his location in an attempt to extract him from above, but it proved to be too difficult. The cramped space made it impossible for rescuers to move around, and any attempt to remove John could cause further collapse, putting everyone in danger. The rescue team even tried to pump oxygen into the tiny space, but that didn't work either. Despite the best efforts of the rescue team, John Jones was pronounced dead on November 25, 2009, more than 28 hours after he became trapped. The cause of death was determined to be positional asphyxiation, which occurs when the body is in a position that prevents normal breathing. The Nutty Putty Cave was closed indefinitely after the accident, and the entrance was sealed to prevent any future accidents. John's death was a wake-up call to the caving community, highlighting the importance of safety measures and proper training when exploring caves.